What would be the most unsettling thing to keep occasionally finding around your house? When I was a kid we lived in a house for about 6 months that I swear was haunted. We kept finding crucifixes on the doorknobs. We aren't Catholic. We had the other haunted stuff like footsteps. It was an old house, so I guess noises are part of it, if you wanted to explain it away. The kicker was that my sister woke up one day and everything from the attic had been moved to her room. Attic access was in her room. My mom was as shocked as she was. My dad was out of the country at the time. Either we had a ghost or a Catholic squatter hiding in the attic. So, one Christmas my mother-in-law got my then toddler one of those little people playsets. This one was the Nativity, complete with donkey, Mary, Joseph, a crib, 2 angels, and a little stable. And baby Jesus. Well, I kept finding baby Jesus in the most random places for like the whole next 2 years, and each time it gave me a start. Fixing dinner? Baby Jesus says hi from the silverware drawer. Going to the toilet? Baby Jesus in the sink. Waking up? Baby Jesus on your nightstand. Driving somewhere? Baby Jesus in the front console cup holder. A pineapple. I remember seeing a pretty viral story about some guy who hid pineapples around someone else to spook them as a form of revenge. It got so bad that he ended up moving house or something like that. I can't find the original story after searching for it, but if I do I'll add it in an edit. It's hilarious, but I definitely wouldn't want it to happen to me. Edit: I found it, not object. For years, I kept waking up with a bite mark from a small bug on my arm. Just 2 little dots that itched like crazy if I scratched them. But over time, and as I kept waking up with new bites on me, the 2 dots started getting farther and farther apart. The spider was growing and growing. Wherever it was, whatever it was, it got to be kind of fucking big. Too big for my comfort. And I never found it. I moved out before solving that one. Fuck that, I'm gonna have to go with semen. I was living in an apartment with my young child, and would randomly find puddles of what definitely looked like semen on counters, beds, on the couch. I finally changed the locks myself, because my landlord wouldn't. It was probably him in the first place, filthy old asshole. He hinted several times that my rent could be cheaper if I was nicer to him, vomiting face. We moved as soon as possible. Cockroaches, no matter how much treatment you do, they come back. We moved into a place and they didn't tell us that it wasn't infested because they cleaned the apartment literally right before we arrived. We are clean people, and it still took us almost 2 years of constantly getting treatment for them to go away. Be careful, people. Read reviews of apartments before moving in. Porcelain dolls. I did this to my roommates. I hid one repeatedly in the dead of night until they broke it. Then I bought more and just kept hiding them for a whole year. They thought we were haunted. Called the previous homeowner and asked about the dolls. Had a seance. It kind of ended badly, but it was a good time for a while. Post-it notes that aren't yours. Follow-up thread. About once every 6 months or so I find a Barbie shoe. Different one every time. I have no kids living at home, the ones I do have are all boys. None have kids of their own yet. I have never had a child in my house in the several years I've lived here. They turn up in the house, not the garden. Most people are going with the out there ones. Now I do have a slumlord. Well, the ceiling leaks on a rather regular basis. I keep waking up every so often to water either dripping or literally pouring from my ceiling. I'm gonna have to go with consistent random leaks is the most unsettling. Used tissue paper, never mind what it's used for, because your cat likes to find them and leave them in random places around your house. You're not sure why he's fixated on your used tissues, but he becomes noticeably irritable when you try to clean up before you have guests over. I have a partner who goes and sleeps over at others' houses on occasion. I cannot tell you the distress of finding new clothes I have never purchased in sizes that hardly fit either of us. So many of my friends just switch clothes. And I'm the crazy one finding them everywhere. I have an old house 1897, that has a partially dirt floor basement. Every once in a while I find these weird humpbacked crickets and they just give me the creeps shiver. Edit: I only find them in the basement, never up the stairs or upstairs. Phew. For me, I'd have to say any signs of a bad infestation, especially related to cockroaches, mice, rats, bed bugs. By far. I would literally rather portals to hell regularly open in my living room and demons come out that I have to fight. I kept finding almonds under my pillow every once in a while, and it was unsettling until I realized my chihuahua must have found some once upon a time and has been hiding and revising them. But there's apparently not an almond fairy. Occasionally coming home from an outing, work, or waking up, finding your belongings out of place, ornaments rearranged, pictures at odd angles, random handprints in dust, mysterious writing or symbols written on mirrors, Capulin fruit Mexican cherry remnants on the floor, inside your house, as those mean battered bats are spending time under your roof. As a kid, I got scared shitless as it started happening for a few days near my bed. Rented the property, didn't buy. Moved in and found a large sign in the rafters of the garage that had the words meth house. It certainly helped connect the dots with everything else wrong with the place. I think I read years and years ago on here that a man kept finding sticky notes around his house and was worried there was an intruder. I believe it ended up being a carbon monoxide poisoning situation. Right now, blobs of phlegm. All 3 of my dogs have the mystery disease, and have the goobers in their lungs and are now finally hacking it up. Stepped in a juicy pile with my socks on yesterday. It only happened once, but someone left a loaded 9mm pistol on our porch. Very deliberately hidden, and they had to come in through the front gate to even get up there. Quite strange. Have you heard about finding teeth? It's a glitch in the Matrix PPL talk about on the internet, where they find adult human teeth in their house and still have all of theirs. After my dad died, my mom would find my dad's picture on the floor, anytime a man came to work on the house repairs. It happened several times. He was a jealous type, Goliath bird-eating tarantula molts. Like a bunch of small ones every now and then. After a few months, when you think they're gone, you find the dinner plate-sized one. Every increasing photos of you throughout the being so close you wonder why you didn't see them take it. Then to realize the photos were of your upcoming day. Post-it notes from yourself reminding you do simple things like a reminder to put the milk away, lock the front door, etc. that you have no recollection of writing. A .38 revolver, hidden in a closet. Had a police officer friend run a serial number. Turns out it was stolen in a home burglary in 1973. We found it in 1998. Murder victims? Parts of murder victims? Like a random eyeball just kinda floating in your morning cup of coffee. I'd imagine that being pretty jarring. Ever increasingly desperate notes from time-traveling you, as that you tries to stop current you from doing the thing that creates time-traveling you. Some of the food in your cabinets and refrigerator randomly appear half-eaten and not by you, and you're not on Ambien, so it's not you zombie eating. Notes in similar handwriting as mine, warning me about an unnamed danger, but I have no memory of writing them. Oh wait, that happened on Reddit. My first thought was fingers. Then I was like, damn, I can think of so many worse things, but my brain went to fingers first, so I'm sticking to it. Those basement centipedes. There's one in my basement for the simple fact they'll eat the spiders and whatever else. Any more than one and I kill it. Notes addressed to you from someone secretly living inside your home, telling you to buy more groceries and to clean up after yourself more. Your sister, in bed with your husband. Damn it, Jessica, when mom said sisters are supposed to share everything, this is not what she meant. Teeth. Found one in my closet when I first moved into my house. Years later my wife found a dental mold with teeth hidden in the kitchen. Not sure, but my favorite post on this subject is the one where someone prank hid an army of creepy little plastic baby dolls everywhere. As someone who has self-harmed really badly in the past, I keep finding tiny blood drops all over my apartment. It doesn't feel fantastic. Post-it notes according to Reddit. But for me personally, as a childless female, probably kids' toys lying around. Like just who and why? Teeth. X200B. Imagine, you wake up, go make a coffee, and there in the mug, tooth. X200B. The next day, tooth on a shelf. A bell pepper with "I hate you" carved into it, lying in your fireplace, having been tossed into your chimney in the dark of night. This guy had a crazy ex. Moved on with a new chick, kept finding post-its all around his house, even in his suitcase freezer. A €100 bill. Oh, how very unsettled I would be if I were to find a €100 bill not once nor twice, but on multiple occasions no less. My daughter found a long painted fingernail in her sink. We decided it must have come from the flowers she got from a florist. Grimacing face. Snake skins. Shudder, we find them in the basement. It's just garter, rat and milk snakes, but I'm terrified of snakes. I'm just here for the comments. Eyes. I would just like to point out that some of you guys have very disturbing imaginations. Flushed face. After a week vacation we found fresh paint streaks around our bathroom door and a smudged handprint on the frame in our apt. Every night before you go to bed you flush the toilet. But every morning there is a fresh turd in the bowl. You live alone. Dead bugs. Not just an occasional dead spider, but like trails of unmoving ants. Dead swarms of flies all in one room, etc. Those super bounce rubber balls from the quarter machines. especially if I entered an empty room and one was bouncing. Came home multiple times to blood on the bathroom counter and mirror. I live alone. I got cameras a few days later. I was recently watching an episode of that show about frogging, so I am going to say people who don't live here. A fucking watermelon on my front porch. Like, who the hell puts a watermelon on someone's porch for no reason? Voodoo doll? How come nobody has said voodoo doll, like those Blair Witch Project ones hanging in the trees? It's got squirrels in the attic. I'd how to get them out. We've called exterminators and they just come back. Increasingly large spider molts from the same spider, but you never see the actual spider. Only the molts. Whole fingernails, toenails or teeth that aren't yours. Still would be unsettling too if they were yours. Extremely large shed snake skins, and it appears to be a venomous species. But you never see the snake. Post-it notes in your own handwriting saying things like it's not real. Wake up and help me. Toenail clippings. Imagine finding jars of toenail clippings just randomly appearing in your house. Unassuming for most maybe, but for anyone that's dealt with it the answer is definitely bed bugs. Notes from my leprechaun said they are moving out unless I can get them more potatoes. In Oregon, anything that reminds me of my dearly departed dogs. Toys, dust bunnies, forgotten treats, etc. Evidence that your house foundation is settling. Situational irony will throw you off a bit. Food or food packaging that I didn't eat. The reason? Frogging. That shit is scary as hell. Small animals' entrails being torn out as they float in circles above a newborn baby's bed. Teeth. Corpses. A live stranger? 3 live strangers, a portal to hell. Your doppelganger.